People talk about the rapture like it's some Hollywood moment. Cars crashing, people disappearing, chaos everywhere. But let's forget the movies. What does the Bible actually say? Paul wrote, "I would not have you be ignorant, brethren, concerning those who are asleep, those who have died, that you sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him." That's 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. And what Paul says next is the clearest description we have of what many call the rapture. He writes, "For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent, or go before, those who are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God." That's not quiet. That's not secret. That's loud. Shout. Trumpet. Archangel. It's the return of the King. Paul continues, "And the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord." That's where we get the word rapture, from the Latin rapturo, meaning caught up, which comes from the Greek word harpazo, to seize, to snatch away. But there's more. Jesus himself said in Matthew 24, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Then what? Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other." Again, visible, global, loud. The angels gather God's people. The trumpet sounds. There is no mention of people disappearing quietly or secretly. In 1 Corinthians 15, Paul explains it again. "Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed." A resurrection, a transformation. The mortal becomes immortal, the perishable becomes imperishable. Nowhere does Paul say this happens before trouble. In fact, in that same chapter he says, "Then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, Death is swallowed up in victory." That's at Christ's return. Jesus warned his followers many times to be watchful, because his coming would be sudden. He said, "As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the coming of the Son of Man. For as in the days before the flood they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark. And they knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." Then he says, "Two will be in the field. One will be taken, the other left. Two women grinding at the mill. One shall be taken, the other left." But he doesn't say which one is taken to safety and which one is judged, because in Noah's day, the ones taken were the ones swept away by the flood. The point is not to debate who is taken and who is left. The point is to be ready. Jesus said, "Watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord does come." In 2 Thessalonians, Paul warned the church not to be shaken or deceived by false reports about the day of Christ. He said, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God." The return of Jesus and our gathering to him won't happen until that time of rebellion and the rise of the man of lawlessness. In Revelation 1 it says, "Behold, he comes with clouds, and every eye shall see him." Not some eyes, not just believers, every eye. Later in Revelation, in chapter 20, it describes the first resurrection. It says, "Blessed and holy is he that has part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power. But they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years." So what does the Bible really say? It says Jesus will return visibly, with power and glory. A trumpet will sound. The dead in Christ will rise. The living believers will be caught up together with them. All will be transformed, and we will be with the Lord forever, not quietly, not secretly, but gloriously. So the real question isn't when will the rapture happen? The question is, are you ready? Because Jesus said, "Be also ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man comes."